I'm just so honored today to have Simone Gold. She's my hero. And she's the one who knows the truth behind the CCP virus and the CCP virus vaccine mandate. And so we're so happy to have you today. And so we are known as the Chinese whistleblower movement. Our leader and founder, Mr. Mao Guo, he's CCP's #1 enemy. He's the first one to tell the truth about the true origin of the coronavirus. It's not from the wet market. It's coming from the Wuhan lab, okay? And the whole vaccine, we're not against the vaccine in general. We are against the CCP vaccine, And so, so tell us your name for people who haven't met you in person. And
Great. So I'm Dr. Simone Gold, and I founded America's Frontline Doctors because we know that there was so much censorship and propaganda. I always knew that China was behind it. I don't know how anybody, you asked me how I knew. I said, to me, it was obvious. So first of all, we heard outlandish stories like it came from a wet market. When if you just did a 30-second internet search, you could see that this alleged wet market was like 3 or 4 miles away from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And if you looked up the Wuhan Institute of Virology, you saw that it was a level 4 biosafety hazard lab, of which there was exactly 1 in the nation of China, right? And it was new, and it was only started in 2017. And China had already had difficulties with biosafety hazard labs level 3. They had let SARS virus escape. Their containment policies were not strong enough. So we already knew that China didn't have a good track record. So I knew that it was either an accidental leak or it was an on-purpose leak. I couldn't say. But one thing I knew for sure is it didn't come from a wet market, So, and then the other thing that made it a clue that this was more nefarious was the aggressive name change, the aggressive change in words. Initially, this was called the Wuhan virus, which was not racist. The reason it's not racist is viruses are very commonly named after places from which they arise or places they're associated. China, CCP, got very angry at that. So they kind of made everybody to change the language. If you remember, then they started calling it the coronavirus. But there's 7 coronaviruses, so that was confusing. And then they came up with COVID, which is very clever. But anytime you start seeing a name change, you have to be very, very suspicious. And then eventually, of course, we saw that they used even the word vaccine. And vaccine, it's not a vaccine. The common definition understanding of the word vaccine is a modality that will stop the transmission of an organism, and that's not what it did. So once you start seeing an organization, entity changing language, you're dealing with tyranny and fascism.
Yeah, so absolutely, and they're the CCP's money behind the major American pharmaceutical company, the vaccine manufacturers, and we know that Pfizer's Research and Development Center is based in Shanghai under the CCP's direct control. And we know that CCP's money is also behind the vaccine manufacturers. So in this country, we're deeply troubled by how far the CCP has penetrated into almost every aspect of the society, not only in Wall Street, but in medical field. And I know you have been championing for medical freedom, okay? So medical should also stay out of the CCP's control and mandates, right?
Okay, so the CCP, we Americans don't know enough about what's really going on. So if you look at your college campuses, so you'll notice I think it's about 20 or 30 years ago, we started seeing Mandarin programs in college campuses. But what was actually going on is that China was sponsoring these programs and paying for everything. So China has been heavily investing in control and access within all American institutions. So we've now saw it in the last few years with medicine, but it's infected the university system. I mean, there's so many Chinese students. As you know, Chinese students have to swear an allegiance to the mainland China. And if mainland China, CCP asks them to espionage for Mother China, they have to do that. So it's really
called the 1,000 talent plan. And it's penetrated into the U.S. Colleges, universities, and research institutions. So I think that the issue that you have been talking about is the issue that we have been exposing in this country. But unfortunately, we have been silenced and censored by the American media and also by the American social media platform. So that worries us the most because, we lost the freedom of speech in China. And now we come to America and now we've been silenced. We've been deplatformed simply because we're exposing the CCP's crimes against humanity, and we're not even partisan. We're not taking sides in this country about America's domestic politics. We're only taking down the Chinese Communist Party, and now we've been silenced. Unfortunately, we just learned that behind Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover of Twitter, there was a CCP's money. It's called Binance and also Sequoia, and he hasn't reinstated our founder and leader Mao Guo's Twitter account. He was the first one to be banned by Twitter. Yeah, he was the first one to be banned, and I lost my Twitter account. So this is my word for Elon Musk. If you're a real free speech absolute, reinstate our leader and founder, Mr. Mao Guo's account, and all of us, because we're only exposing the CCP's crimes against humanity. So now you see the new federal state of China, and we're based in New York, and we are followed by 500 million Chinese people who believe in America's, freedom and liberty and those fundamental American values. And now we really want to take down the Chinese Communist Party's enablers in this country, as well as their influence and infiltration in American society. So what do you think about our work?
So first of all, I'm delighted that we've met, because I actually didn't know about you. I think you're incredibly brave, because the CCP is very vicious and has no mercy. So my props to your founder. I certainly hope you're restored on Twitter and you can engage on that level. But thankfully, there's other platforms now as well. Truth Social, Getter, Gab. I don't know about Gab, but Telegram seems to be pretty open. And take comfort in the fact that it's not the vast majority, but it's the people who fight like you and me who can really change things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and we're so happy you're here, and we're happy that, we're fighting against the same tyranny, and that's the Chinese Communist Party. We want the same thing, and I think America needs to be independent from CCP's influence.
Are there people able to watch your program in China?
Yes, actually, there are a lot of Chinese people are bypassing the firewall, circumventing the firewall using the VPN, and so a lot of we have so many followers in communist China.
I just want to say to you directly that I honestly don't know how you live under the tyrannical forces under which you live. Know that there are at least some Americans, some percentage of Americans, that our hearts break for the situation that you're in, and we will never quit trying to help you.